Oh, man, come on, get it. Hurry. Oh, damn, what is this? What is going on? Just go back. Yeah, that's more like it. This is the Short Sports Show with your host, Daniel Short. Oh, really? That's what I'm going to get? Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I am your host, Daniel Short. Today is August 17th, 2016, and this marks the 3-year anniversary of the Short Sports Show. Now, it was actually on Monday was 3 years ago the first episode of the Short Sports Show was uploaded. But, this is the first show of the week, of the anniversary. It's crazy to think that 3 years has already passed just like that. I never thought it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to think that 3 years I've been doing this show. It's incredible. That's all thanks to you guys for your support, continuing to like and share and favorite. I mean, if you would have told me 3 years ago this show would have been doing pretty well, enough to sign a contract with Broadband TV and the NBA, and then being partnered with iHeartRadio, having a sponsor with InnerGrind, being able to sell my own t-shirts, all that stuff. I would have said, I hope so. That'd be cool, but I don't think that's going to happen. But, we'll see where it goes. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Whether you've been here all 3 years or this is your first episode, thank you. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad we can keep this going, and I look forward for another 3+ years, and who knows what 3 years from now this show is going to be. But again, thank you for all of your support and all of everything that you have done for this show and for myself. Like I always say in my show, if it wasn't for you, I would just be a guy talking to a microphone and wasting my time. You guys are making everything possible, and some exciting stuff still yet to be announced that will happen this fall that I'm excited about. But again, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But let's get on with the show. As always, we talk about college football news first, and we have a jam-packed show of college football and the NFL. We even got some basketball we'll talk about because this guy didn't pay attention last week and realized, obviously, I knew the NBA schedule had come out. I just did not talk about some of the big games that are going to be happening, and I want to get through that. We also have people have been asking me this past couple of weeks about fantasy football and who should they draft. And everybody comes to me to ask, and I'm not a fantasy guru. I've won one championship. In the past several years, I've been runner-up, which is, I don't know if that's an accomplishment or not. But people have been asking me, and I thought, hey, I should talk about it on my show, some of the rankings, and I might even, depending on how much support that we get from that, I might even make I'll do a live on YouTube, not a mock draft, but doing my fantasy. I have a league set up that I'll do, and maybe we even create a public one so everybody can join for the show, and I'll record it, do it live on YouTube. And you guys can see how the draft process works, how I do it, and some of the things like that. I don't know. We'll see. It's an idea. I'll probably still do it either way. But, yeah. So we got college football news. We have the NFL. And like I said, I'm an intern at my local high school. And some of the coaches, they now know about the show, and they've been wanting a shout-out. And so while I won't say every coach, because if I end up missing one, that looks bad. So, to all the San Marcos High School football coaches that are listening to the show, thank you. Thank you for listening to the show, and make sure y'all continue to, like and share, because that helps me out. But there you go. There's their shout-out. They all wanted it. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about some college football news first, and this one, I kind of want to just get a feeler out there and to some of the people that might know this. So, former Alabama quarterback Maurice Smith, his transfer saga is now over. He'll be allowed to transfer to Georgia, the SEC announced on Friday. Now, people have been hearing about this, that he wanted to go with Kirby Smart, who was the defensive coordinator at Alabama, now the head coach at Georgia. Here's the issue I have. Now, I'm glad, he was able to transfer, and I think they should be able to transfer. Just let it happen, right? And especially, he only had 1 year left. He wasn't a big-time player, for Alabama. He recorded 15 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and had a fumble recovery in 15 games as their nickelback. And he ended the spring football in their starting secondary rotation. So he was going to start getting some playing time by now. But Kirby Smart, defense coordinator, goes to Georgia to become the head coach. He wants to follow. And Kirby Smart, he's okay with that. He wants him to come as well, right? Now, a couple months ago, there's a Georgia player. And remember, Mark Rich was the head coach at Georgia last season. Mark Rich goes to the University of Miami, the U, as their coach. There is, I don't remember the position. It could have been a running back or a DB. He wanted to transfer from Georgia to Miami because, 1, he's from the state of Florida, and 2, he wants to be with Coach Mark Rich. And I believe he was also a senior. So Kirby Smart's okay with a senior player coming from his former school to now his school, but Kirby Smart denied that one player that was at Georgia that was wanting to transfer back to his home state of Florida and going to Miami, who, check this out, Miami and Georgia, they don't even play each other the next 2 to 3 years. So what's the issue? Why is it okay that you can have a player come to your team, but you can't allow someone to return home to the state of Florida? I don't remember what city it was from, but either way, he wouldn't let him. He denied him, and they don't even play each other. The only way they could play each other is in a bowl game, or if they both somehow made the playoffs, then that could be a possibility. That's it. Yet Georgia and Alabama, guess what? They will play each other. I don't understand. There's got to be some kind of level. So, I'm glad for Maurice Smith. I'm not trying to throw him out of it or anything. That's good for him. He's going to be able to transfer to Georgia. Great. But Kirby Smart, you've got to, I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. You can benefit, but you're taking away another player's ability to go back home to a school he wants to go play and play for another coach. And his former coach, really. But you won't let that happen. That's a problem. That is a problem. I do not like that. But great for Maurice Smith. He gets to go. He had claimed that his locker was even cleared out of all of his personal belongings that were thrown in the trash. He wasn't allowed to enter the Crimson Tide's football facilities. And this is what he wrote in a letter to the Alabama Appeals Committee. And Saban said, he didn't want it to happen, which I could understand Saban's point of view, saying, but at the same time, it's not like Smith is going to give them any inside information that Kirby Smart doesn't already know. If anything, Kirby Smart already knows what Nick Saban's doing. So that shouldn't be an issue. But that's what happened. Congratulations, Maurice Smith. You're going to go to Georgia. Kirby Smart, I don't like him right now. I don't like him. That's messed up, to be honest. Florida State quarterback DeAndre Francois is expected to start for the Seminoles opener, but he's not taking ownership of the offense yet. Quote, I don't ever say it's my offense until Coach Jimbo Fisher tells me it's my offense. I'll continue to do what he tells me to do and continue to practice hard every day. Now, Francois is a redshirt freshman, and he's the clear leader to start September 5th against Ole Miss in Orlando, Florida, after senior quarterback Sean McGuire had suffered a broken foot in his right foot. Broken bone in his right foot that will sideline him for 4 weeks. McGuire underwent surgery on Monday, and it happened on the second day of practice for McGuire, but he tried to play on it the next few days. Following the MRI, the team doctor told McGuire that the injury would get progressively worse without surgery. Therefore, he underwent, and McGuire should be ready by the second or third week. But who knows if Francois, if he impresses against Ole Miss's defense, which we really don't know how that's going to look. If he impresses, do they just hand the keys right back to McGuire? Because McGuire was going to start before this injury. He was a clear-cut leader. He was going to take keys to the offense. Now, if Francois looks okay, looks pretty good, gets the W, or even just does really good, but, W doesn't come their way, do they give it back to McGuire with the unknown? Interesting stuff for Florida State for a team that's ranked number 4 in college football. I still have a problem with that because this Florida State team is the same team that got demolished by Houston, yet Houston still doesn't get credit. Houston, I feel your pain. I know, because as a TCU fan, we would dominate teams, and they would still hold us down. For Florida State, I get they're returning 10 starters on offense. Defense is young, and people are giving them high praise. Great. I have no disrespect to Florida State. They're okay. I was accepted by the University of Miami, so I still believe I'm a Hurricane, so I don't like Florida State that much. But not being biased here, I don't see a top 5 team of Florida State, at least to start the year right now. I just do not see that. And already off to a pretty tough start. Now, Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer talked about one particular school that should be in the Big 12. And it's kind of across the street. Cincinnati. Quote, as a graduate, a fan, I think they should be in the Big 12. Now, Cincinnati is currently one of 20 athletic programs under consideration by the Big 12 that will give video presentations to the league, with the conference likely to select 2 of them if they choose to expand. Now, Meyer admitted that the recruiting might become more challenging if the Bearcats are in the Big 12, but he thinks that there's still enough talent in Ohio State having that brand name that he could still get who he wants. But he also said that won't keep him from wanting the best for his alma mater, which that's nice to see. That's nice to see. But I think he just knows since he's at Ohio State. I mean, even if Cincinnati had been in the Big 12 and had, they want to say football success, but I don't think they've won a bowl game in a few years, but at least got blown out in a couple. Anyways, it's still kind of clear. Ohio State's up here. Cincinnati's about right there. Maybe it's a bigger gap. So, but at least he's saying, look, I still want them to succeed. I would like them to be in there. And Cincinnati is one of those, you're pretty much a sure lock. BYU was, but now this LGBT thing is happening. Who knows if they're a lock anymore. But Cincinnati looks like, all right, you got the most solid foundation. You're in a good media market. You give a partner to West Virginia. Let's go ahead and get the Bearcats. So the other 19 athletic programs, in case you were wondering, first it was 18, now it's 20. Well, there's some teams that joined last night, Tuesday night. East Carolina's now in there. Rice is now in there. UNLV is another one. Then there's Houston, BYU, South Florida, Central Florida, UConn, Memphis, Colorado State, Boise State, Tulane, Temple, SMU, New Mexico, Northern Illinois, San Diego State, Arkansas State, and Air Force, which props on that helmet. That was, Air Force's helmets. Man, the military programs, they are coming out with some of the best. Navy, I still believe, has the best ones. Those battleship helmets, that's the premier. That's the top of the line right there. Army needs to step it up, honestly. Army, you got black and gold. You've got to make something work. I'm sorry, their uniforms, they're the worst. It's Navy, Air Force, and then Army. Buy uniforms. And real quick about the Big 12 expansion, sources are saying that it's becoming less and less likely that they will expand to 4 teams, and that it's either 2 or they stay at 10 members. But they're looking at 12 as being the favorite, and then having 2 6-team divisions, which would be nice. And in case you're wondering, if you haven't seen my past videos or listened to the past show, this is my expansion I think will happen. I think it's Houston and Cincinnati. Now, BYU, more things are coming out. It's not looking too good for them right now. I think Cincinnati's just a sure lock. And Houston, I think people are going to just complain if they don't get in. Colorado State is kind of like that dark horse right now. They could get in. I think they should just go to 4. I like to see 4. Cincinnati, Colorado State, BYU, and I'm going to throw Northern Illinois in there. I'm going to throw them in there just because a few years ago when Lynch, their quarterback, obviously not Paxton Lynch, it was someone else. I don't know. Y'all remember him. Now he's in like the CFL or he's a running back somewhere. He was, a Heisman contender. Northern Illinois was doing pretty good. They're not that far away from Chicago, but they're not necessarily that close. But if you want to go east, you can get that Illinois market. Then you go to Ohio for Cincinnati, maybe. And Colorado State, get to Colorado. Who knows? It's a mess. The Big 12 has been a mess. West Virginia didn't get some good news, though. They have suffered back-to-back years losing their starting safety now. Junior safety Dravon Askew-Henry suffered a torn ACL in his left knee during Wednesday's practice, head coach Dana Holgorsen announced on Friday. Now, Askew-Henry has been a starter in West Virginia's defensive backfield since his true freshman season. Having started all 26 career games, he was 4th on the team in tackles last year. And the Mountaineers opened the season September 3rd at home against Missouri. Remember, they lost Carl Joseph pretty early in the season last year. Thankfully for him, he still was able to become a first-round draft pick based on, just his raw talent that he has. But now you lose another one. This is not good. And I think they lost another DB earlier in the season. I should have jotted it down. Not too good for West Virginia. Not too good. The Seattle Seahawks will pay $140,000 to Texas A&M for limited rights to the school's 12th man trademark as part of a 5-year deal announced Thursday between the two parties. Now, as part of the new 5-year deal, the Seattle Seahawks will pay a royalty fee of $18,000 a year for using the trademark. The Seahawks will also have to pay $10,000 a year to the Aggies to help support the school in its fight to protect that trademark, which I feel that's a little bit ridiculous. $18,000, cool, trademark, gotcha. Another $10,000 to help support the school fight. It's not like A&M already doesn't, get tremendous amount of money. That this is fine, but this is a little bit different though. Unlike the terms in the earlier deals, which initiated in 2006 and re-signed in 11, the Seahawks will no longer use the 12th man on the Ring of Honor, nor will the team be able to use the 12th man on its social media handles, which a team, and they've never been able to use the 12th man on merchandise, clothes, apparel, stuff like that. And they've really stayed away from saying the 12th man for a while now. They've now just been using 12 or the 12s. And Seattle even made sure that they can get something of the 12. They have 3 that they are owners of the trademarks. They have 12, the 12s, and we are 12s. Now, Texas A&M and the Seattle Seahawks have been working together after the university took legal action against the team back in 1990 when A&M had trademarked it and Seahawks were, using it without permission. It's kind of, you got the 6th man in basketball and you're thinking, well, that's just going to be a common phrase. Well, football, A&M wanted that 12th man, and they now have it. Now, the most recent legal action actually happened last year in November when Texas A&M sued the Indianapolis Colts for using the 12th man on their social media. Now, nothing ended up happening. The lawsuit was settled with no money changing hands after the Colts agreed they would stop using it. But Seattle Seahawks, they're going to keep the 12s, and they're going to continue to pay, $140,000? Yee. Gotta do what you gotta do. So former Baylor head coach Art Briles made yet another NFL preseason stop on Thursday with a trip to the Tuesday to the Houston Texans camp. Now, like last week, he was with the Cowboys, and then before that, it was with the Rams and a few other teams. But he decided he wanted to take the opportunity to talk to some of the media. And the media obviously asked him some specific, it was kind of vague questions. They really could have gone more in depth. A real reporter would have got more in depth. I would have got right in his face and asked him, especially after what he said. His first quote, listen to what he said here.
I would say just look at longevity. Look over a career, and I've been in 38 years, and I've done lived the right way for 60 years of my life, and never done anything illegal, immoral, or unethical. And I think when at the end of the day, all that will show itself, and we'll be in good shape. I'm excited about coaching again. I really am, because if you lose your dog, all of a sudden, you're looking around hollering for him. You'll stay up late at night looking for him, and I've lost my dog. My dog's football, and I'm ready to go find it again.
And that is a problem. That's a problem. The problem for Briles is that he claims of his innocence once again after being contested not just by the lawsuit filed against him by a rape survivor who was victimized by former Baylor football player Tevin Elliott, who was convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison in 2014, but also by a former Baylor staffer who claims Briles knew about the sexual assault involving a football player between 2011 and 2013. Now, Briles also went ahead and in that same press conference, a little interview, I guess I should say, he guaranteed he would coach in 2017 and said he's had some conversations to that effect. This is what he said.
The direction that I'm going.
Or is there any doubt in your mind you will coach again at some point?
Yeah, I will coach, and I will coach, in the 2017 season.
Have some people reached out to you already?
I've had some things going on. So, I'm following God's plan, and it's worked for 60 years, so hopefully it'll work the next 60.
Coach, you said that, and then you'd be doing...
It's ridiculous. I would have gone in and said, so you've never done anything unethical at Baylor. Get on top. Start pushing it a little bit until he just gets fed up. I find it it's ridiculous. We've had already enough videos about it. I'm not going to put another one up on Briles, but he guarantees he's going to coach in 2017. Let's see it. See what happens. It's hard to really understand that an athletic director, a president, a university itself will allow this man to be a leader amongst young men again after all of this. It's hard to think. I know the football side, we talked about the football side of it. Yes, he's an offensive genius. There's no doubt about it. He's an offensive genius in college football and in high school football. But we also have to realize it's more than what's on the field. And this is just too much. You cannot give him another spot to lead young men. Just can't happen. Moving on, LSU running back Leonard Fournette was in a walking boot after suffering a sprained ankle during the Tigers scrimmage on Tuesday, head coach Les Miles announced. He suffered the injury when a teammate landed on the back of his leg during a scrimmage, and Miles classified the injury as minor. Quote, Fournette got a slight sprain and is in a boot, so we're getting some of the healing going. I don't know when he'll be back at this point, but I know it's not, in his words, he'll be fine, end quote. LSU opens the season against Wisconsin on September 3rd at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That'll be a fun game to watch. Some other injury news. Clemson starting defensive end Austin Bryant broke his right foot, and he'll miss the season opener against Auburn. Now, he has a screw inserted into his foot and is expected to miss a month. Now, Sweeney said that he's hopeful Bryant will be back to play Georgia Tech on September 22nd. And with that timetable, Bryant would miss games against Troy and South Carolina State, along with, obviously, Auburn. Now, the Tigers' defense, this is a big loss because they already have to replace Shaq Lawson and Kevin Dodd with some really inexperienced players. But they've done it before. They've had some, their DBs were inexperienced at the beginning of last season, and they turned out pretty well. So let's see if they can do it with the defensive line. Obviously, in other news that is also related to sports, there's been major flooding in Louisiana. And last year, South Carolina dealt with some major flooding as well. And it was LSU who actually came to help them. Donated some stuff, some items, helped pay, and also it happened during the time when South Carolina was supposed to host LSU in a football game, and they switched. It went to LSU. They had the game played at LSU Tiger Stadium in October 2015, and all net proceeds from that game were given to South Carolina because, again, it was supposed to be their home game. But it's a nice thing to see LSU do that. And it was a pretty good game, too. It was a pretty good game. And now, again, like I said, South Carolina is now helping LSU. Quote, LSU was so gracious to assist us in our time of need. Now it's our turn to help our SEC friends. I encourage all Gamecocks to drop off items needed for the Baton Rouge flood relief, end quote. That's what South Carolina President Harris Pastides said in a statement. Now, according to the release, the items in need from the Baton Rouge community include baby and adult diapers, baby formula, canned food, foods in plastic containers such as peanut butter and jelly, individually packaged crackers, snacks, breakfast bars, multi-packaged cereal, new and unopened socks, underwear, towels, and blankets. So it's a good thing for South Carolina to come and help their partner after they were also helped. And also back to that game, I forgot about this. LSU running back Leonard Fournette auctioned off his game-worn jersey to help raise money for the flood relief efforts in South Carolina, and the winning bid for that package that included his jersey was $101,000. Not bad. Not bad at all. So it was just a great thing to see that South Carolina was helping Louisiana, because LSU is not obviously the only school being affected. There are others. Tulane, just the whole state of Louisiana is underwater right now. So I thought it was a good story to include into the show, and good props to South Carolina. Obviously, prayers are to all families, football related or not, in Louisiana for those flooding, because every time I see flooding like this now, I have like a small, tiny PTSD because of the flooding that happened here in San Marcos. I was one of those that was trapped and had to be rescued out. That was I get small, tiny butterflies. That's all I'm affected by. When I see water, when I see flood water, it's crazy. But anyways, good thing by South Carolina. Former USC football head coach Steve Sarkisian is the last story before we move on to the NFL. He was fired by the school last October amid concerns about his alcohol use, and he remains open to this day, resuming his career. Sarkisian, who has kept a low profile since his dismissal, told TMZ Sports on Tuesday that he's feeling well and at least for the interim will remain close to the game by working with Fox Sports 1 this fall. According to the Los Angeles Daily News, he will be an in-booth analyst, for non-Pac-12 games. Asked if he was planned on getting back into coaching, and he said he was up for the possibility. Quote, I love coaching. I love being around the game of football, and Fox gave me an opportunity to be around it. We'll see where it goes from there. Now, he was fired by University of Southern California on October 12th, a day after he arrived to the team's facilities appearing to be intoxicated. 2 months later, he filed a wrongful termination lawsuit against USC seeking $30 million, but later agreed to not oppose an arbitration agreement he signed to settle the dispute. Now, Alabama offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin, who was a co-offensive coordinator with Sarkisian at USC prior to the College Football National Championship game, said he would hire Sarkisian in the future if an opportunity presented itself. And Adam Schefter had reported Sarkisian even put out feelers to NFL teams and expressed interest in becoming either a quarterback's coach or an offensive coordinator. That is it for college football news. We'll move on to the NFL, and got some crazy stuff there. Take our first quick break here. Again, check out InnerGrind, based out of Houston, Texas. You guys already know Michael Rakpo doing big things over there. He's already had multiple clients lose at least 2 pounds per week they are losing. I believe that's the last time I saw. They've continued to lose weight, and they've also been gaining muscle, getting healthy, is the main priority. He's got programs needed for you. You guys got to check him out. Even if you're not in the Houston, Texas area, he's got online programs as well to get you fit and some encouraging there. So go check it out, InnerGrind.com. Also, we're selling, once again, the Short Sports Show t-shirts, #PurpleRain, people. We got those t-shirts on sale right now on Teespring, only 12 or 11 more days. To be safe and say 11 more days as of the show's recording Wednesday. 11 more days to go and buy those Purple Rain t-shirts, limited time only. You already had Make Sports Radio Great Again t-shirt. Those are done. Those have been sold. Now let's go and sell these. If you can't, be sure just to like and share it. Check social media. I got it up there so you guys can go check it out. Their jackets, hoodies, I should say. There's even a coffee mug if you just want to buy a coffee mug. Got that. Obviously, t-shirt for men and women's. Tank top, but obviously I don't know how much longer you're going to be able to wear those. But you can save it for next year. And also, hoodies. I think I already said that. Anyways, go check it out. Teespring, Purple Rain, #PurpleRain. And what else? We got Teespring, Patreon. Support the show on Patreon. You guys already know what the deal is. I'll see you guys here in just a bit. What's up? I've got some amazing news. You can now buy the Short Sports Show apparel on Teespring. That's right. I have 2 different designs up already, and they're amazing, and I love them, and I know you guys will love them too. Hurry now, as these shirts are only up for a certain number of days, and then they're gone. My goal is to sell at least 50 of each design, and the more they sell, the longer they're available. So help me make that happen. Teespring is a platform that makes it easy for anyone to create and sell high-quality products that people love with no cost or risk. So go to www.teespring.com/stores/The Short Sports Show today, and after you make your purchase, tweet the show for a chance to be on the following week's show with me. Now, back to the show. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the show, but I want to say first off, thank you for all of your support. Without you, I'd just be some guy talking to a microphone. And I got some amazing news. I recently joined Patreon. And in case you're wondering, Patreon is an amazing way for you to earn some sweet rewards by supporting the Short Sports Show. I promise you, you will love the perks, and your support will help build this show. Go to www.patreon.com/The Short Sports Show and view the amazing rewards you would get directly from me to you by donating to the show. The link is in the description, so when you have some time, check it out. And again, thank you for listening and supporting the Short Sports Show. Now back to me rambling on about something. So we are back for NFL news, and something that just came in about 20 minutes ago. The Miami Dolphins, since we're talking about the NFL now, will officially announce their new stadium name as Hard Rock Stadium. Yeah, it's kind of a weird name to name a stadium, but all right, Hard Rock Stadium for Miami Dolphins. During a concert in Los Angeles over the weekend, singer Adele told her fans she was offered a chance to perform at next year's Super Bowl 51. But guess what? She turned it down. Quote, "First of all, I'm not doing the Super Bowl. I mean, come on, that show is not about music. And I can't dance or anything like that. They were very kind. They did ask me, but I did say no. I'm sorry, but maybe next time." End quote. I mean, Adele, she's very popular. I don't listen to her music, but I mean, not saying she's not a good singer. It would have been nice. It would have been nice to have her at the Super Bowl. Who knows? Who knows? She might have said no right now, but the NFL and Pepsi, the sponsor of the Super Bowl halftime show, have released a statement saying they deny ever even making a formal offer to Adele. They might have just thrown out a feeling, hey, come and join. This is what they said, quote, "The NFL and Pepsi are big fans of Adele. We have had conversations with several artists about the Pepsi Super Bowl halftime show. However, we have not at this point extended a formal offer to Adele or anybody else. We are focused on putting together a fantastic show for Houston, and we look forward to revealing that in good time," end quote. Well, I mean, we could pretty much assume that Adele would be one of the top dogs right now, for one of the top choices for the NFL and for Pepsi. They've also talked to Maroon 5. I didn't even know they were still making music. Or Rihanna, which I swear, if I hear that song work, if I hear that at the Super Bowl, I'm done. Even if it's the Chargers, which I know they won't make it. I'm just saying, even if they're there, I'm done. Cutting off the TV right there. I cannot stand hearing that song over and over again. Maroon 5, I didn't even know they were still making music. It's not 2003 anymore. 2004, 2005. Adele would be fine. I don't really have a specific person. Bruno Mars, he did a good job. I'm just gonna say, I can't remember if he did it twice now already, but he did a good job when he was there. When it was the Seahawks against the Broncos, that was a good one. But I could care less, really. I love watching the commercials more than actually watching the halftime show itself. So I don't care. Adele, that would be cool. It'd be nice. I'm sure the NFL and Pepsi are gonna make it happen and try to present something to her, a formal presentation to her to get her to do the Super Bowl. Let me know in the comment section who you want to see in the Super Bowl 51 halftime show in Houston, Texas in 2017. Do you want it to be Adele? Do you want it to be Maroon 5? Do you want it to be Rihanna? Or anybody else who we haven't mentioned? Let me know in the comment section down below and tweet me at the show at Short Sports Show. The Buffalo Bills have continued to suffer more and more defensive setbacks. This time, this was something not the Bills organization could have controlled. Well, maybe they could have, but you can't control when injuries happen. You can control whether or not a player wants to do drugs, especially if it's multiple times. Star defensive tackle Marcel Darius has been suspended for 4 games for another positive test for marijuana. He will now forfeit $1.5 million in total compensation, which includes his signing bonus and option bonus. And again, last year he signed over a $100 million deal last September. The 6-year defensive tackle was previously suspended the first game of the 2015 season for violation of the substance abuse policy following a May 2014 arrest in Alabama for criminal possession of a controlled substance. The suspension, like I said, it's another blow for the Bills' defense. They already lost their first-round draft pick in Shaq Lawson, who had off-season shoulder surgery and is expected to keep him out until at week 6 at the very earliest. And Buffalo will be without starting inside linebacker, also rookie, Reggie Ragland for this season when he tore his ACL in training camp. Bam, just like that. They will also, and on the offensive side, they've already lost another player. They will be without second-year running back Carlos Williams for the first 4 games of the season for violation of the NFL substance abuse policy. It's like we got something going here that we shouldn't happen. Now the Bills, they will be subject to a steep fine from the NFL based on the NFL's remittance policy, which is the result of having multiple players suspended in a single season. I just, what is up with people? Why drugs? You basically, was that joint, whatever it was that you smoked, did it cost you $1.5 million? Was it worth $1.5 million? Because in the end, it cost you $1.5 million, and you're suspended for 4 games. And the thing is, what upset me a little bit more about this, because I like Marcel Darius. I followed him when he was at Alabama, and I like him. When he put on, it wasn't word for word, but it was basically this. You know when someone gets hurt, and they put a hashtag or they put something in their social media to say a minor setback for major comeback, something like that, right? Something inspirational. And you like that. When someone's hurt, they're saying uplifted, saying positive, that I like that. I'm cool with. But when someone smokes weed, gets caught, or gets in trouble with the law, and then gets suspended or something, and they put a setback for a major comeback, that I don't like. I don't like that, because you had control of that situation where this wouldn't be a setback, and yet you allowed it to be. So I just don't say it's a minor setback for major comeback. Don't say that. Don't say that. The preseason was fun to watch, or at least for me. I love preseason football. I know a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? It's not just because finally football's back. It's not just that. I enjoy watching preseason football. Even if it's not my team, I love watching it because you have an argument here to say that this is actually the most competitive football the entire year. And I know well, what about the playoffs? It's win or go home or the Super Bowl. It's the main thing. Yeah, it is. I'm not denying that. But preseason, you have a whole lot more players, and and a majority of them are playing for their almost life because they know that if they screw up, this is their one opportunity. That if it doesn't work out, football can be over for them. They'll never suit up another uniform unless they want to go play some, amateur football league. This is it. So they're giving everything they've got. So I love watching preseason football. I absolutely love it. Now, on the topic of preseason football, rookie quarterback Carson Wentz said Sunday night that he still hopes to play in the Philadelphia Eagles' final preseason game on September 1st, despite a rib injury sustained in Thursday's preseason opener. Quote, I really hope so. I love to play tomorrow. That's how I am, but we'll have to see what the doctors say. Now, Wentz said he could begin practicing as soon as he could tolerate the pain. Team doctors will determine whether it's safe for Wentz to participate in live action. Now, on Sunday night, last Sunday night, he wore his red number 11 practice jersey and a baseball cap while the Eagles practiced. He said he was getting, quote, mental reps. That's part of being a backup quarterback. You have to get mental reps whether you're hurt or on the field. So that's definitely what I'm going to do, end quote. I like that. The Rams, they held Goff out of the second half of Saturday night's game against the Dallas Cowboys because the injury to Goff's non-throwing shoulder, they were a little, not concerned, but they're just being precautious about it. And a lot of people are already making up this thing about how Goff played and it wasn't, number one pick worthy. That's one thing about preseason football. I love watching it, but you can't necessarily, if someone plays bad, you can't just go and poke it with a stick and keep saying, oh, they play terrible, they're supposed to play better. But next week, Goff can go 12 for 12, 3 touchdowns, and $126. And then we're saying, oh, he was definitely worth the number one pick. The Rams made the great trade, and they've done a great job. Well, last week you were just harping on him that he didn't play like a number one overall pick. So just chill. Enjoy football. Enjoy that it's back. And chill. Okay? That's it. I know media's got to do its job, and they got to write articles and got to sell and all that, but chill. Now, maybe the Dallas Cowboys don't need a veteran backup quarterback after all. Now, Kellen Moore, we all remember him. He broke his fibula on August 2nd, and that'll keep him out 3 to 4 months. Cowboys, they talked about maybe signing Nick Foles. Well, he ended up in Kansas City. What about Josh McCown? Well, Browns, they were asking for too much, and the Cowboys said, Josh McCown, no. Now, Tony Romo, he's sitting out preseason game number 1 against the Los Angeles Rams, and here comes a rookie quarterback named Dak Prescott, who I said on the show, I like him. I think he's good, and I'm glad that they got him over all the other quarterbacks, especially after Paxton Lynch, because I liked Dak Prescott, especially when he made that big run his junior year 2 years ago. I liked him. I liked him a lot. Well, he went out there, and like I said, it's preseason, so we have to chill, we have to relax. But if you watch some of those throws that he made, woo, it wasn't even just about, well, he's going against third and fourth string defenses, guys that might not even play in the league this season. It's not just that. It's just about the throws, the accuracy of those throws, where they were placed. It doesn't matter what coverage it was because majority of coverage, that was just perfect placement. The back shoulder to Des Bryant. The fade over to Terrence Williams for a touchdown. Those were beautiful, beautiful touchdowns. 10 yards and a 32, respectively. He was 10 of 12 for 139 yards in his first half of action. And his only incompletions, those 2 incompletions, weren't even his fault. They were drops. They were clear drops. Again, it's preseason. We got to chill. But Dak Prescott looked pretty freaking good. And I'm not going to go out there and start saying, well, he outplayed the number 1 overall pick. Maybe he should have been number 1. I'm not doing that. That's stupid. Those are clickbaits. And yes, I love the 100,000 views it'd probably get. Then I just look like an idiot to 100,000 people. And I'm not about to do that. So I'm not going to make the argument. I'm doing it with bunny ears for people that don't watch the video and hear the show. I'm not going to make the argument about it. But he did play good. He played great. And he did it in front of 89,000 fans. Of Los Angeles fans. First time they've seen a game in Los Angeles since 1994. Dak Prescott. Now let's see what he can do next week. Let's see what he can do next week. I believe they got the Miami Dolphins this week. So let's see. And it's at home. Prescott getting the action. Let's see. Dallas Cowboys. Other news about them. They re-signed. Well, not re-signed. They got a contract extension through 2023 for Travis Frederick. They got him the Pro Bowl center. It begins in 2018. It's for 6 years, $56.4 million with $28.2 million guaranteed. Arizona Cardinals head coach Bruce Arians gave a scare to everyone who actually likes him, and I like him. If you haven't seen that Arizona Cardinals, everybody's talking about Last Chance U, which got renewed for a second season on Netflix, which is awesome. If you haven't yet seen All or Nothing, it's on Amazon only for the Arizona Cardinals. That is even better. That's you got Last Chance U, which is the top of the line of college football documentary, and then you have All or Nothing, which is top of the line of NFL documentary. That goes in depth in their management and their player personnel, the coaching, and obviously the games. It is great. It is absolute great. It's awesome. I love it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's been out for a while now. But Bruce Arians gave a scare because he was taken to San Diego area hospital by an ambulance before Tuesday night's practice against the Chargers at Qualcomm Stadium. But this morning, I just got a tweet. He is expected to be released this morning, as of Wednesday morning, and rejoin the team today. So that's good. But he was experiencing some stomach pain. Didn't really want to go to the hospital. Team doctors, medical staff, they said, hey, you need to go. But now it seems everything's okay. I haven't got any more information other than what you've already might know by now. So, hey, it's good that he's going to be okay. Let's see. Jerry Jones and former Commissioner Paul Tagliabue have been selected as finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2017. They were chosen yesterday by a contributor committee, and that'd be kind of cool. I'd like to see Jerry Jones inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I don't mean to make this a Cowboy show, but here's something it might get too touchy to talk about, but this I need to talk about it. I need to talk about it. Last week, which I read, and again, I was lazy and I forgot to put it on the show. Or maybe it happened after the show. I don't know. The NFL denied the Dallas Cowboys petition to add a small decal, not that big, on their helmets this season to show support for law enforcement. It was, and you're seeing it on your screen right now, the arm design was revealed in late July by Dallas Police Chief David Brown and Dallas Mayor Mike Rawlings and the family members of the 5 officers killed that walked arm in arm with the players at the team's first practice. Remember that. NFL legend and former Dallas Cowboys running back Emmitt Smith says it's a shame the NFL didn't support the team's helmet decals honoring the 5 police officers slain during a sniper attack in downtown Dallas in July. Quote, everyone's lives definitely matter, but at the same time, we also understand through a statistical standpoint that there are deeper issues out there that the NFL can take leadership role and support the efforts of the Dallas Cowboys trying to do the same thing for their city, end quote. That's what Emmitt Smith said to FoxBusiness.com. And he also continued to go on to say, just like we do things for cancer, this is an opportunity for the league to take a leadership role and not necessarily a political role, end quote. Now, Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones told the Dallas Morning News that the organization understood and respected the NFL's decision and said the team will still be allowed to wear the decals during practices. That's fine, but it's the games that count, not the practices. And he also gave a statement. Stephen Jones said, quote, "Everyone has to be uniformed with the league and the other 31 teams. We respect their decision. There are so many wonderful, wonderful causes the league has to be careful. If you allow one, then you have to do about every team. Then what you do about every team that has a great reason to do something on their helmets." Okay, that's good, right? The NFL has enforced a strict uniform policy for years. I mean, a lot of people, I find it upsetting that the NFL didn't allow this for the Cowboys, but I also find this upsetting too. If you remember back when they denied the request of Steelers running back DeAngelo Williams to wear pink gear all season in honor of his mother, who passed away from breast cancer. We have that 1 month of breast cancer awareness, but he wanted to do it all year. And he also was, and they denied it, and then he was fined for having a message, "Find the cure," printed on his eye black, ladies and gentlemen, during a game. That is ridiculous. And the Dallas Police Department, they said in a statement that the sentiment mattered more than the results. I just have a problem with this. I have a problem with this because it's what Emmitt Smith said. This was an opportunity to the league to take a leadership role and not necessarily a political role. And they took the political role because they didn't want, because already the argument is, well, if the Cowboys are allowed to have the arm in arm and it's support for law enforcement, does that mean that they approve of the actions of those few bad apples of what the police did to the victims that were shot and killed for honestly no reason? Then there's that, and it's not supposed to be that. It's just support, but it automatically and this is why the NFL denied it, because they said, well, if we allow them to support law enforcement, then the NFL is going to take the hate of, well, you don't care about Black Lives Matter, you don't care about this and that. That's automatically what will happen. Guaranteed. That's why they said no to the Dallas Cowboys. Is it fair? Absolutely not. But is that how social media, how society is right now? That's how it is. And the NFL didn't want to take that because they know if they say no now, guess what? This is all going to die down, and no one's going to care. No one's going to care. I would have liked to see that happen, to see the Cowboy decal on the back of the helmet. It's small. It's not like it's a huge thing. It's literally that big. And it would have been nice. It would have been nice. And again, it's not to say that law enforcement lives should be promoted and not others. Again, just like Emmitt Smith, because his word is going to be more stronger than mine. People are going to take his, side over mine, which is good because it's Emmitt Smith. I take his over mine. Everyone's lives definitely matter. But at the same time, we also understand through a statistical standpoint, there are deeper issues out there that the NFL can take leadership role and supports the effort of the Dallas Cowboys trying to do something for their city. Good thing is the Cowboys can really put a banner or something or a presentation before every home game. They can do something because it is their stadium. They can go ahead and do something like that. Uniform thing, there's not much you can do. But let me know in the comment section down below, do you believe the Cowboys should have been able to have that arm in arms decal, again, what you're seeing on your screen right up here? Should they have had it? Should the NFL have approved it, or do you think it was best that they did not? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also tweet me at Short Sports Show, and keep it clean, guys. Keep it clean. The San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick did not play in the team's preseason opener Sunday night because of continued soreness in his right shoulder. They think someone even called it a dead arm right now. They're a little bit concerned about his shoulder and his arm, and they're waiting until he's completely healthy to go ahead and go. Blaine Gabbert got the start in the preseason game against the Houston Texans, in which they lost 24-13. Gabbert finished 4 of 10 for 63 yards, a touchdown, and 3 carries for 18 yards. They also lost quarterback Thad Lewis, who suffered a torn ACL and is out for the entire season. And so they signed Christian Ponder. You guys remember him? He is now, because the only healthy quarterback is Blaine Gabbert. Colin Kaepernick is not healthy, so they had to go and get someone to back him up. And so you got Christian Ponder. Yesterday was pretty surprising. The Philadelphia Eagles acquired 2015 second-round wide receiver Dorial Green-Beckham from the Tennessee Titans in a trade Tuesday morning. The Eagles sent offensive lineman Dennis Kelly to the Titans to complete the deal. There's got to be something that we don't know yet. We understand Dorial Green-Beckham. He's a raw player, and the ceiling is high for him. But it appears that maybe the ceiling isn't so high. You got an offensive lineman who no one really knows about. You didn't get a draft pick out of it. You basically gave him away for free. That's it. Now, he was a 40th pick overall out of Oklahoma in 2015, which he never even played for the Sooners. He practiced for him, but he had to sit out because of transfer rules by the NCAA. But at 6'5", 230 pounds, you can be a difficult target to defend. He caught 32 passes for 549 yards as a rookie for 4 touchdowns. With 4 touchdowns. But in his second training camp, apparently he was very inconsistent, dropping a lot, not running the routes effectively, which led to him being traded away to the Eagles. Now, the Titans are not thin on the depth chart at wide receiver. They picked up Rashad Matthews, a Miami Dolphins free agent in the offseason. They also selected a 5th-round draft pick, Tajay Sharp, under new general manager John Robinson. So they got some wide receivers, but it's just a little shocking. He's already been traded out. He's already been shipped out in just his second year. He's gone. Shocking. Eagles, if they can make it work, they got something very, very good. They got a player very good. The NFL has threatened discipline, including suspension for players refusing to cooperate with the league's investigation into steroid claims made by an Al Jazeera America report. Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker James Harrison, Green Bay Packers linebackers Clay Matthews and Julius Peppers, and former Packers linebacker Mike Neal have until August 25th to comply with the league's request for interviews, according to an NFL letter sent to the NFL Players Association. Vice President and Labor Policy of League Affairs Adolfo Birch, I'm botching names right now, wrote the league as a, quote, good faith basis, end quote, for investigating potential violations of the NFL's drug policy, yet the league has made at least 7 unsuccessful attempts to interview these players. This is funny. Check this out. Harrison has declined to comment on the matter at training camp. Matthews called the claims, quote, bogus at the start of training camp. He went on to say, it's kind of annoying that I have to continue to deal with this, but the truth will come out, and everything I said when the allegations came out, I still stand by. And Peppers called the allegations nonsense. Everybody's denying it, which, they're probably right. They're not going to obviously talk to, they have nothing to hold Peyton Manning by. They apparently have also cleared him. These other guys, though, not so fast. Not so fast. We're going to talk to them. So we'll see what happens with them and whether they will cooperate with the NFL. I don't know. It's kind of funny how it is. It's probably not. In a wide-range interview with GQ, the Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton told the magazine he doesn't think he's subjected to extra scrutiny because he's black. So that leads to the question, are Cam Newton's critics racist? Now, he says, quote, it's not racism. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Now, Newton has been criticized for his playing style, and we talked about this. It mainly happened during Super Bowl week, and we talked about this. I went all in on this. So if you want to go back to the Super Bowl episode, go back to it, and we talked about it. But he was criticized for his playing style, his demeanor on and off the field throughout his 5 seasons in the NFL. And he also, at some point, pointed to Newton's race as a part of the reason he received such criticism, because they label him as a black quarterback. And I forgot exactly what the title was. There was a headline to him, and it was during the Super Bowl week, and I remember, and I was upset about it because they wanted just to label him by a black quarterback and not just a quarterback. And I think they were describing his playing style and how so dynamic and stuff like that, which it is very dynamic, but they were tossing away like there's never been another quarterback like him. And they said only quarterbacks like him were just because they were comparing him to other black quarterbacks, basically, is what they were doing. They weren't comparing him to any other type of quarterback, even though there's other quarterbacks that aren't black that have somewhat the same playing style as him. So he dismissed the idea to GQ. He said, quote, "I don't want this to be about race because it's not. It's not. Like we're beyond that as a nation." Before Super Bowl 50, here we go, Newton created headlines when he described himself as an African-American quarterback that may scare a lot of people because they haven't seen nothing that could compare him to, which I've found other players that I could compare him to that weren't black. He later eased off those comments in a run-up to his first Super Bowl appearance when he became the 6th black quarterback to start in the NFL's title game. Quote, "I don't even want to touch the topic of a black quarterback because I think this game is bigger than black, white, or green. I think we've limited ourselves when we just label ourselves as just black, this and that, and the third. I want to bring awareness because of that, but yet I don't think I should be labeled as just a black quarterback because it's bigger things in the sport that need to be accomplished." End quote. Now, when he was asked about, he also went on to talk about some other national issues, and Newton said he doesn't have his opinion on Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, and wouldn't say whether he would vote or if he voted for North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory, which McCrory was the guy who also had the whole issue of the public restrooms, transgender and gay bathrooms, stuff like that. Yeah, he wouldn't go into that. And he said, Newton said he would rather let people develop their own opinions rather than advocate for his positions. Quote, "I'll let you be the judge. I don't look at it like that. I look at it like people have certain beliefs and I have my own belief. And we can agree to disagree on certain things. But this is what makes sports so amazing, that we can start a discussion around the table, in the newspaper, in the magazines, that will get people's attention. And that's what sports does." GQ released its September cover story featuring Cam Newton on Monday, so be sure to go check that out on GQ. I like Cam Newton. Sometimes I think off the field he can go a little too much. I think that's just how he is. He's very open. But, I mean, we in college football, everyone described him or compared him to a Tim Tebow. The running style, how strong they were. Now, Tebow didn't have the strongest arm, or he had a strong arm, but just wasn't most accurate. But there were things that we could compare him to that weren't just two other African-American quarterbacks. So when Cam Newton said that, and there's another headline about it, it was just like, why does it have to be about race? We're talking about how you play on the field. That does not, how you play on the field is not determined by the color of your skin. It's that simple. Yet, Cam Newton kind of opened the door to that during Super Bowl week about race. And, of course, once that happens in mainstream media, you have just opened up the floodgates because everybody in media wants to use the race card if possible. Because guess what? It gets the views. It gets people talking. Once you get them talking, it gets more views. More views equals more money. Networks love money. Everyone loves money. So race card, boom, opens it up, gets everybody going. So that was what was upsetting, was because It went straight to race and not about the football field and what was happening and describing the player as his playing capabilities, what he has. That was what was upsetting. So, and also, the only criticism I really gave Cam Newton was, one, not diving on the football, kind of backing out. And also was just how, what everyone else said. If you're going to smile, you're going to dance, you're going to party when you're winning, you can't be a sore loser and a crybaby when you lose. You got to have that chest up high. You got to have your chin held up high. You cannot go from dancing and celebrating, going crazy and happy when you're winning, and when something bad happens, when you lose, be on the far, far opposite spectrum. I get it. It sucks. You lost the biggest game of your career. But Russell Wilson threw the game-losing interception. Guess what? He took all the questions. He took all the criticism. He took all the blame. And he handled it. But it was his second Super Bowl. He had been there before. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You can ask any player that has been to the Super Bowl multiple times, or at least 2 times, when they've won and when they've lost. And I guarantee you they'll say it's different, and they don't know how to handle each one. When they've won and when they've lost. They're a little lost on how they got to handle it, but they somehow pulled through. Cam Newton did not. That was my main thing. Other than that, I love Cam Newton. Plays great. I'm not a Panthers fan. I'm not a bandwagoner. Definitely not. But when are we going to lose the race card and just talk about when it's not even about race? Why can't we just talk about football when it's not even about race? When it doesn't even have to be, why do we have to let it be? That's my question. We'll see. We shall see. Now, the last video we'll make, and again, like I said earlier in the show, each year I have friends and family ask me, who should I draft? Who's going to give me more points? And I'm not a fantasy football guru. Trust me. I've won only one. I've played for 7 years, maybe 7 years max. I've played fantasy football, and I've only won one championship. I've been runner-up multiple years, probably 3 or 4 years. I've been runner-up, not straight, but in the 6 or 7 years I played, I've been runner-up. I've also finished last place before. I don't know if it's not a good thing, obviously, but I'm telling you, this is where I'm at. But this year, I decided to make a ranking system for quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, defense, and tight ends. Kickers, it doesn't matter. Kickers and punters are people too, but it does not matter who we rank. But I decided to make a little ranking system for you guys, for everyone, and for also family members that are going to be doing their fantasy football this year. We'll also do another one once it's playoff time. Might do one. Also, if you end up liking this, let me know if you would like to see a live draft, not a mock draft, my draft that I have for my league. If you would like to see a live draft on YouTube and show you why I pick certain players and kind of stuff like that. Now, I know ESPN just did a 28-hour live stream of mock drafts and fantasy football talk. I'm not doing that. Mine's going to be whatever hour and a half it takes to draft, and that's it. That's it. I'm not going to go a 28-hour stream. But let me know. Tweet me at Short Sports Show if you guys end up liking this. So, quarterbacks, here we go. 2016 rankings for quarterbacks. These are the guys you should look out for. And, quarterbacks are someone you should pick kind of later in the draft unless you really feel comfortable with picking number 1, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's going to throw for a lot of yards, going to give you the touchdowns, equal points. Aaron Rodgers. And also been more consistent. Then you got Cam Newton, number 2. He's going to give you the rushing. He's going to give you the passing. Now he's getting more consistent. Earlier years, obviously, he's been very inconsistent. Now he's gradually being more and more consistent. Cam Newton, finally getting some weapons around him if they can stay healthy. Him. Then you got Andrew Luck. Eli Manning, I have at number 4. Sterling Shepard's going to have a breakout year, ladies and gentlemen. Watch Sterling Shepard. Going to have a breakout year. So, more weapons for Eli Manning. Obviously, Odell Beckham's going to do Odell Beckham things. Eli Manning is your guy. After that, Kirk Cousins. Now, you should have weapons everywhere. You got Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon in contract years. That means they're going to want the ball, and they're going to want to make big plays. And if Josh Doctson can be healthy, he can be another breakout wide receiver. You also have a top tight end, and is it Josh Reed? Jordan Reed. I knew that. You have Jordan Reed as a tight end as well. So, weapons around Kirk Cousins. That's another big dog right there. Drew Brees, Carson Palmer, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. And then I have Tom Brady. He's going to be out for, obviously, the first 4 games. And, honestly, I've been the victim of selecting Tom Brady as my top quarterback in the usually early rounds as well. And I've also been on the side, at the same time, I've seen other people get quarterbacks late, and they end up giving more points than Tom Brady does. So that's why I have Tom Brady at the bottom. The 4 games obviously hurt him, and you shouldn't draft him early. Even if you're a huge Tom Brady lover and Patriots lover, you should really chill out and probably get a different quarterback. It's okay. You're not going to hurt Tom Brady's feelings. Next is the running backs. We have Todd Gurley, number 1. Now, I know a lot of people want to go Adrian Peterson. I am going Todd Gurley. Catching out of the backfield. They're going to rely on the running game a lot more. I'm going Todd Gurley. Then you have Adrian Peterson. Might be the last year you pick him very high because he's up in the age, and who knows how much he's got left in his tank. So Adrian Peterson should still give you a good, solid fantasy year. David Johnson from Arizona Cardinals. That is a guy who is starting to get more and more talk. Drafted out of Northern Illinois and did pretty well his first year at Arizona Cardinals. Now going and really should be the starter all the way through. Kickoff returns, I know they don't count in fantasy football, but he can do that as well. He's such a dynamic player. Obviously catching out of the backfield and being a dominant, powerful force at the running back position. David Johnson should be a top guy. Ezekiel Elliott, I'm going to put him up there kind of high just because he has huge upside. His potential can be very beneficial, but obviously there's a big unknown. So it's a high risk. Look at other players first, but might be willing to take the gamble with him. After that, Devonta Freeman. If he was healthy, one of the top running backs in the NFL, and he was one of the top running backs, but had some concussions and kind of slowed him down a bit. Devonta Freeman, awesome running back. Then there's Eddie Lacy, Jeremy Hill, Jamal Charles, if he's healthy, LaShawn McCoy, and Le'Veon Bell. I would have had Le'Veon Bell as number 1, but obviously suspended for the first 4 games. That hurts his case. So, dropping him down. Wide receivers. Antonio Brown is number 1, ladies and gentlemen. He just is. Odell Beckham Jr., number 2. Julio Jones, number 3. DeAndre Hopkins and A.J. Green, I have really tied at 4. So you got 4A and 4B. They're really just right there. It's just who you want to go with because A.J. Green, he's always that, for me, not questionable player, but it's like I want to go and pick him, but he's their main receiver. Now, especially this year, you might want to actually drop him a bit because Bengals really don't have that many wide receivers now. They lost 2 of them to free agency. How is that going to affect them for defenses knowing that now they can really just control A.J. Green and double team him? Who knows if that's going to affect. DeAndre Hopkins, he had 4 different quarterbacks. 4 terrible quarterbacks last season. Still 1,500-yard season, double-digit touchdowns, over 100 catches. Come on now. He's got Brock Osweiler. Whether he's good or bad, he's got to be much better than the other 4. Got to get him. Allen Robinson, top dog as well. But they also have a ton of receivers. They actually hurt them then. Des Bryant, Brandon Marshall, Sammy Watkins, and Amari Cooper. Don't forget about Amari Cooper. Also, wild card, get Sterling Shepard. Draft him late in the draft. Most people will not look at him. They will not remember about him. I guarantee you, breakout player, rookie of the year, is Sterling Shepard, wide receiver, if he's healthy, of course, and he should be. Sterling Shepard, New York Giants wide receiver. I'm not a Giants fan, but you got to be happy for a Giants fan. Sterling Shepard, rookie of the year. Go get him. 8th, 9th, 10th round. He should be there. Go get him. Tight ends, we're only going to do the top 5, and they really, I think everybody agrees with this. Rob Gronkowski, Jordan Reed, Greg Olsen, Delaney Walker, and Travis Kelce. That's really it. There's no one big dog. Now, there's going to be some tight ends that will come out of nowhere and have one great week, and then you go pick them up on the waivers, and then the next week, 2 catches, 35 yards. That's just how it happens with tight ends. So, tight end, I have fallen victim of picking them late and not benefiting and really getting any value. So, I might change it up here this year. There's so many good receivers that maybe you can wait on receivers a little bit, get them your first 2 picks, and then wait for later rounds, get a tight end, get your quarterback, get a couple running backs, and then go back to receivers. So I might pick tight end a little bit earlier this year than I normally do. Finally, defense, I would go with this. Now, people are going to disagree with me because guess what? I have the Denver Broncos at number 5. I'm a little bit concerned. I just don't feel that the defense is going to truly repeat what it did last year. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't hate the Broncos. I'm a Chargers fan, but not being biased here. I don't feel confident in the Broncos defense this year for some weird reason. Just got a weird feeling about it. I could be completely wrong. Number 1, I have the Arizona Cardinals defense. If everyone's healthy, defense should be number 1 in the NFL. Go get them. One of the best D-lines. Obviously, some of the best secondary. And linebackers, pretty solid group as well up front. I would get the Arizona Cardinals. Number 2, the Seattle Seahawks. Every year they've been in the top 5 defense. Go and get them because, there's the Legion of Boom. After that, the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to put them at 3A. And at 3B, the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs maybe should really be number 3. Secondary, Marcus Peters looks really good. He intercepted Russell Wilson in preseason, and he looks like he should just be in the same shape as last season and be benefiting from an entire full offseason in the NFL now. And obviously their pass rush has been one of the best. So maybe the Kansas City Chiefs, actually, I'm going to go ahead and change it. Put them at number 3. Carolina Panthers number 4 with the Denver Broncos at number 5. That is my 2016 fantasy football rankings. Let me know in the comment section what you have them as. And if you want me to do a live draft for my league, I'm also going to be creating a public league for the Short Sports Show fans, supporters, I should say. They're not fans. Fans sounds egotistical. Supporters. You support the show. I'm thinking about making one here pretty soon. I like to wait until after preseason so that way if there's any injuries, we're not screwed by picking someone who's not even going to be playing. So I'll probably do it right before week 1 action of the NFL. Let me know in the comment section down below if you'd like to see it, and I will see you guys next week. All right, so that was pretty fun, right? Y'all got an entire video right here on the show. NBA action, we'll just get a little bit. Obviously, LeBron James, he signed his 3-year deal for $100 million. The Cleveland Cavaliers last week make $31 million in his first year. I believe I saw somewhere, I don't know if it was correct, but it said it would he would make $91,000 a day, whether he's playing or not. $91,000 a day for the first year. Something ridiculous like that. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. The NBA Finals rematch between the Cavaliers and Golden State Warriors. That's going to be a centerpiece of the 5-game Christmas Day slate. So, obviously, a lot of games happening. You got that. On Christmas, you also have the Chicago Bulls taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Then you also have Boston Celtics taking on the Knicks. Timberwolves going against Oklahoma City. And the Lakers taking on the Clippers. What else we have? On the second night of the season, ESPN will televise the number 1 overall pick, Ben Simmons, in his first game as the Philadelphia 76ers host the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then the number 2 pick, Brandon Ingram, will play his first game for the Lakers against the Houston Rockets in L.A. Kevin Durant, he'll make his return to Oklahoma City with the Warriors on February 11th as part of the ABC Saturday Primetime Special. Dwayne Wade will make his return to Miami, his only return to Miami, with the Bulls early in the season, November 10th. And the Knicks' Derrick Rose will make his return to Chicago on November 4th in a game on ESPN. That is it for today's show, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Share it with your friends and family. And as always, thank you guys for all you do. Be sure to go get your shirt, #Purple Rain t-shirt on Teespring right now. Link is in the description. All links are in the description for everything. Again, thank you guys so much for everything. 3 years of the Short Sports Show. Thank you guys, honestly. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everything you guys have done for me and allowing my dream come true. We may not have the biggest audience, but at least I have enough to make this worth it, and you guys are special. I truly mean it. Thank you so much. If you listened this far into the show, put #Purple Rain in the comment section down below, no matter where you're listening to. If you listen on iTunes, go ahead and go rate and just put 5 stars and put #Purple Rain. Again, thank you guys so much. As always, God first, God bless. And I will see you guys next week. Short Sports. Also, next week's my birthday. So we're going to have a birthday special too. So thank you guys so much again, as always. God first, God bless. I'm out. Peace.